Here we go with another take on Superman. Welcome to Asha Media TV, where I react and review and sometimes rant about a variety of stuff related to the sci-fi, fantasy, comic book world of things. So today I'm going to watch and react and review part 1, or more or less the first half hour of the season premiere, or the series premiere, I think that's the most accurate way to put it, of Superman and Lois. And so I'm really nervous. Very nervous. So if you want to just get right to me watching and reacting, click on the right time code below in the description box. Otherwise, I'm going to kind of just give you my initial feelings and thoughts about my personal connection, attachment to the character of Superman. I might just surprise you. Or maybe not. We'll see. So my first introduction to Superman was actually not the original movie, like Superman the movie with Christopher Reeve. It was the sequel, Superman 2, Richard Lester version, because obviously we didn't get the Donner cut till like 20 years later anyway. So that was my first introduction to Superman. I was 7 years old. It was on cable television, right? So it wasn't even like in the theaters or anything that I saw him. It's on cable TV. So I'm in Canada. I remember it was on CTV. I remember that because all the movies were on CTV at that time. So my connection to Superman runs deep. I have an emotional connection to that superhero. Superman is my favorite superhero. Okay, of all the superheroes there are, mind you, I'm not aware of every single one of them, but that was my first love story, I guess you'd say, with the superhero world. Now, when it comes to comic book superheroes, I'm considered what they call a normie, okay? So meaning that I've watched the TV shows, I've watched the media canon of things, but when it comes to the original source material, the actual comic book itself, I haven't read them, and anything I know about them is through third-party sources that are like on YouTube, such as like channels like Emergency Awesome, where they'll break things down for normies like me. So when it comes to superheroes, all right, Marvel and DC, I'm considered a normie. So when you see my banner come up, like right now, okay, that banner is to give you a quick heads up that I don't know the ins and outs of the comic book stuff. And so if I get something wrong or I misunderstand something, or I actually am just confused with what I'm seeing on the actual screen, that's because I'm not up and up on every single detail from the source materials if it should be stemming from that in the first place. Okay? So I just want that clear. So be easy on me in the comments. All right? Okay, so let me tell you about why I love Superman and why I love the character of Superman and somewhat of an idea of what I feel about the evolution of the Supermen we've received up until now. I'm actually going to make a video about my top 5 Supermen, or my top 5 actors who've portrayed Superman and why I love them. So look out for that in the coming future. I think it's fair to say at this point in time, until further notice, actually until a specific sequel is made, which I'll talk about in another video coming very soon, Christopher Reeve is my Superman, my number 1. And I want to tell you about the scene in Superman 2 that I emotionally connected as a child to Superman. Because I know nowadays, with the current socio-political stuff going on, there's this prevailing notion that people of color, right? I identify as a Black woman. I don't really use people of color or person of color, but for the sake of understanding with this video, people of color, Black women, Black people. Apparently now there's a new term called racialized people. Anyway, what I'm trying to get at is I'm one of those people. I don't need for you to look like me, talk like me, come from the same background as me, for me to connect. All right. So for me at 7 years old, I connected to the Superman character primarily based on one specific scene that I can go back into my memory. And also every time I've seen the movies afterwards, because I've watched the movie many times over the years, I always have the same visceral reaction of not just pride, but admiration and respect and genuine love for the character of Superman portrayed in a particular scene in the Richard Lester version of Superman 2. So, the scene I'm talking about, all right? Now, spoilers! In case you haven't seen Superman 2, I'm going into spoiler territory for one specific scene. You ready? All right. Now, because I gotta keep in mind, you know, there are people out there who haven't seen a lot of older movies. Like, I haven't seen a lot of older movies, so believe it or not, some classics are actually spoilers for me too. Okay, so I'm giving you a heads up on it so you can't say I didn't. All right, so here we go. So the scene in question that really connected me as a kid watching Superman was actually when he wasn't playing Superman. So I gotta preface kind of like before and then the actual scene so you understand why it meant so much to me. So basically, it was at a point in the story in Superman 2 where Superman decides to become mortal in order to spend the rest of his life with Lois Lane. You know, he revealed his identity to Lois Lane. He's Superman and he wants to spend the rest of his life. He asks his mama at that point, you know, can I become human? And him and Lois Lane kind of head out to town in the middle of this like North Pole place, whatever. They go to this hick diner. Or hick-like diner, okay, in the middle of nowhere in the North Pole or whatever. And basically, Clark Kent, because he's Clark at that point, he's mortal, he does not have his superpowers, he gets his ass handed to him by some douchebag thug in the diner. So Clark is bloody. He is completely battered and bruised, and Lois is like, what the heck? I didn't ask for this, you know? It's so funny because the actress, Margot Kidder, you know, at that time, she did a good job. If you go back to that scene, you could tell in her face, she's like, I never asked you to turn into a mortal, you know? You took that upon yourself. But anyways, I digress. So basically, he's bruised, he's battered, and then the news broadcast comes on in the diner, and he finds out that while he was playing mortal or playing, you know, hide the pickle with Margot Kidder, with Lois Lane pretty much in the Fortress of Solitude, the Earth was being taken over by 3 Kryptonian villains, and one of them being General Zod. And he's just like, what the F? Oh my God, I gotta go back. I gotta go back to the Fortress of Solitude and figure out a solution to become Superman again, to get my powers. So that's the preface of that point. But the point where me as a kid, where I'm just like, this man, this person is Superman for his character, for who he is when he turns to Lois and he says, I gotta go back. I gotta go back. And he leaves to walk back to his Fortress of Solitude in the middle of this North Pole land. Now, that's a complete cinema sin. I know that. And, you know, if he was really mortal, he would have died. But the point of that was that Clark is Superman in that moment to me. As a viewer, as an audience watcher at 7 years old, that was Superman. That's when I was like, oh my God, that's Superman. Because, I mean, at 7 years old, you can't articulate it, but you remember how you feel, right? And I remember feeling this pride and like joy for this man. He's willing to go and sacrifice everything, his life. He's taking a risk to even try to get back to the fortress, to become Superman, to save the world. And in the scene where he's walking back to the North Pole, he's freezing his ass off. And a truck is on the way, which is weird in the middle of nowhere. But either way, a truck is actually, no, it's not weird because the diner had a bunch of truck drivers. Yeah. So he's actually trying to flag down the truck. And the truck just zooms past him as if not a care in the world, no compassion for the fact that this man is walking in the middle of nowhere, freezing. And in that moment in the scene, I remember feeling the anguish, and Christopher Reeve performed it so well. He just was so flabbergasted and full of anguish and almost despair that no one's willing to even give him a ride. And he makes it to the fortress by foot. I know. But the point of it is that that moment, just to see this character who is powerful without his powers, because his willingness, his will, his character is noble and loving and compassionate. That for me was the beginning of my love story, connection, journey with the character of Superman. So when I was watching Supergirl about a couple of years ago, I think they were in season 3 or 4. I think it was season 4. I can't remember the season to which Tyler Hoechlin was announced to be the new Superman for TV for the Arrowverse or the CW DC world, right? First of all, I knew who Tyler Hoechlin was from Teen Wolf. So I remember thinking, whoa, boy has come a long way from Teen Wolf. But I was like, oh my God, he's going to play Superman? Because at that point in time, right, a few years ago, we had the whole BVS controversy of hate and love. So anyway, what I'm trying to get at was that when I heard he was Superman at that time, and I finally watched the episode when he was introduced on the Supergirl TV show, I was very skeptical. But he won me over. Tyler Hoechlin won me over. Specifically with one scene, which I cannot remember the episode, but, for those of you that may want to go look for it, please feel free to comment below what episode that was. But it's the episode where he comes to the DOJ, I think it's called the DOJ in Supergirl, and he just presents himself to everyone. And Tyler nailed Superman's nobility, Superman's presence of power, yet laced with clear, obvious humility and respect for his surroundings. And the reverence that everyone kind of had, or the way they shot it as if they had reference towards him, it was just such a great mix. And I felt in that moment, he really did embody the Superman that I fell in love with as a kid, portrayed by Christopher Reeve. And other subsequent scenes after that, I felt his performance was very strong. I feel he nails the balance of the character, the essence. That's the word I'm looking for. It was essence. The essence of who I perceive Superman to be. And so when I heard now they were spinning off with a Superman and Lois show, believe it or not, I actually was not excited. And I'll tell you why. I'll keep it short by saying I wasn't that excited because although his performance in Supergirl was really good, when I say they, I mean the showrunners, the writers, for whatever reason, which I'm going to respect, I'm not going to denounce it, but it doesn't mean I have to like it, they kind of made him play second fiddle to Supergirl, and they basically claimed, really, for that particular version, that Supergirl was stronger than him, better than him. And there were many lines he had to acknowledge Melissa Benoist's version of Supergirl. He had to acknowledge it. There was many episodes where he says it, I can't remember the exact line, but it was along the lines of, Kara, you're so much stronger than me. And I didn't like that. I didn't like that they had to put him down as Superman to prop her up. And that in and of itself is a big no-no for me in the mainstream media of things these days. But let me stick to the point of focus here, and that is when I saw that happening on the show, I then had no more faith. I kind of lost faith in what possibility they can do with Superman and Lois once I heard about the spinoff. So I'm really nervous. I'm really, really, really nervous. It's very emotional for me because if they're going to go the route that I think they're going to go with pretty much continuing the Superman that they wrote into the Supergirl show, I think my face says it all. I think my expression says it all. Okay? So I'm crossing my fingers here. And then when I heard and watched eventually Bitsy Tulloch being cast as Lois Lane, and I watched her Lois Lane in all the other episodes, including the whole crossover stuff going on that happened later on. And I totally love her as Lois Lane. I love Bitsy Tulloch, period. Like, she's one of those actors where I don't like her because she's Lois Lane. I like her because I like her. I love that actress, and she is from one of my all-time favorite sci-fi fantasy, I guess you could say even horror TV show, light horror, mild horror, okay, not hardcore, which was Grimm. I love Grimm. So fans of Grimm, please comment below if you are in love with Bitsy Tulloch too, like me. You have a girl crush on her just in general. I think she's just awesome. And so I was not worried about her at all. And when I saw her performance of Lois Lane in the other Arrowverse TV shows, I was like, she's fine. But for me, it was what they were going to do with Tyler Hoechlin now with their own Superman and Lois show. You know, yeah, you know, are they going to, to me, it was like, are they going to model after Lois and Clark a little bit? Because that's what it kind of reminds me of, right? Lois and Clark, but this time we're going to go into a different story with them as parents, apparently. So when the final trailer for Superman and Lois came around, I was really, really, really excited to see, okay, this was going to give me an idea of likely what I could possibly expect. Because let's keep it real, guys. As much as I love the CW as a whole for a lot of their shows related to a sci-fi fantasy, and yes, they are corny. Yes, they're catered to a demographic of teens, young adults and teens, right? But I like them nonetheless. Whatever, right? We know that. So for me, I was like, okay, they're just gonna tack on the same style with this. Let's see. And like many other people, I was as surprised and shocked at the quality that they were showing in the trailer. I mean, we're talking cinematic quality here. Man of Steel style pattern. That was very, very, very obvious. And not just that, now the story of Clark revealing himself as Superman to his kids? And I was like, okay, how does your kids, or your sons, right, Jonathan and Jordan, I think, how do they not know that you're Superman? So yeah, aside from that, though, the trailer got me pumped. I was just like, this may look like a Superman I can get on board with, but the CW has fooled me before. Sorry, but they have. So I'm really nervous. I'm very nervous, and I want to like this show. I want to root for it. I want to root for Tyler Hoechlin. I want to root for Bitsy Tulloch for taking the lead to bring Superman back onto our screens, if at all, on the small screen for now. So let's get to it, guys. Let's get to it. So I'm going to be watching the first half hour, which is part 1 of this video, and the next half hour, which will be part 2. So you'll have to click on the link for part 2. And that's where I will summarize my overall review of the entire episode and my expectations and hopes and all that good stuff. But I will also give you a mini review of the first half hour and my first impressions that hopefully you'll be able to interpret from my reactions. All right, peeps, let's do this. Spaceship coming to Earth. Okay, so we're going to have a recap now of his origins.
I remember coming to this Earth, feeling the sun on my face for the first time.
Like a little baby. What's all that water? Oh, it's like an embryo or some kind of biochamber. Smallville, Kent Farm.
For loving Smallville, the people, the community.
Oh, young Clark.
How the small things were.
Oh, look at the jacket, just like in the first movie. Whoa, Jonathan dies in the street? Okay, well, they're rushing through this whole thing.
But my father's death set me on a different path. Eventually, I moved to Metropolis.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so they're fast-tracking the whole origin of him. All right. Kid, move! Oh, like the Action Comics! Oh my gosh! That's so smart! What is he wearing? Why is this suit? I don't agree. Oh, his mom, of course.
my
Oh, okay,
mom
yeah.
did it in
So
Montreal.
starting out, his mom made his
Was the
costume.
day I met
Alright.
her.
Just like Lois and Clark. Oh, look at that shot. He's in love. She really does have like the kidder vibe, huh? I wonder if they told her to model off her performance from that. I doubt it, but you never know. Ah, he plays bumbling Clark pretty well.
I told Lois who I really was, where I came from.
Okay, why do I not remember that? Was that in previous scenes that he revealed himself to her that way? So wait, she didn't put two and two together with him. Okay, yeah, oh, wait, I'm confused.
We married.
Sorry guys, I don't remember all the episodes, so for some reason I have it still in my mind that kind of like in Man of Steel, right, where she knows it was Clark, but I guess she didn't. So what, that one has powers, the blonde kid? No, because they find out he's Superman when they're older, right? So.
A year ago, he was diagnosed with social anxiety disorder.
Yep, gotta keep it up to date with the 21st century. That's nice. I like how they show that in the newsroom.
Living in Metropolis, raising two teenage boys, married to the most famous journalist in the world.
Okay, how do they not know that Superman's not their dad? I hope they give a really clever explanation. What, something's gonna explode? Ah, he's got himself a digi-pager! Whoop. You go, Tyler. Oh yeah, the heat vision's different. Because I think Supergirl's, hers is bluish. Why is his red? A huge-ass iceberg with his breath. I love that. He's what? They're just gonna chuck it in the reactor and... yeah, it looks like that's the case. Okay. Ah! Superhero landing! Done right. Hey! You notice there's no cracks on the ground? He's mastered it. He's like, I got this. I ain't paying for no damage. He's Supermaning to get away from the kids. Well, they are in their teen years, right? Not like it's an excuse, but... teenagers are tough to handle. Not like I know. I used to be one and I was a pain in the ass. Oh god, he missed therapy. He's like, alright, sorry. I was Supermaning for a bit. She's like, the girl on the screen is like, can you tell your dad to leave, please? We were in the middle of something. Oh gosh. Ah! It's a video game with Superman! Okay, so he's a gamer. Yeah, turn back on his music. Martha.
Got a lot of plate, but you really do need to be around more.
On my head.
That's right. Family comes first.
What a strong, loving, vulnerable man looks like. What your father...
Mama's getting old.
participation trophy?
In your face.
Enough.
Burn.
Both of you.
Test in the fortress? So they tested them? As kids?
And what about Jordan? Like, all it's gonna do is make him feel more alien than he already does. Trust me, I've been there.
Oh, so... Okay, if I'm understanding this, she thinks Jonathan may have powers, but they tested them and they were negative when they were kids.
Your father agrees with me.
They're 14? Okay, I'm sorry. They look way too old for 14. Maybe the Jordan kid can pass off, but the Jonathan kid looks like he's 18. He probably is in real life. But they're pretty mature looking for 14. Is that Perry White?
Human interest stories are facts. I like hearing about quick words.
Preach, girl, preach, because it's true. Oh. I like how calmly he does that. He's just like, yeah. They just fly to Smallville? Okay, wouldn't the doctor be suspicious he just got... What? Oh my god. Oh, she had a stroke, okay. Wait, is she dead? Oh my god, did they just kill off Martha already? Or is she just, like, incapacitated? Oh my goodness. It hasn't even been, what, barely 20 minutes in? And Martha's dead? We didn't even get any scenes much with him and her. Okay, I don't mean to be insensitive, but they're pushing real hard with this moment here where he's crying. But as a viewer, I feel no emotional connection to his version of Martha or his mom. And now it's like, she's dead. All right. Oh my goodness, it's so weird. Like, what a rush through that. All right, all right. You know, they have their reasons. Although that moment wasn't very much earned emotionally. Oh, right, Lana Lang, yeah. His first love.
Pushing? No. She's here. Billy, where? 50 yards and approaching.
Oh, I like that. Lana's kids gonna be with Clark's kids kind of thing. The next generation. Oh, somebody's smitten. Jordan's like, hell yes.
Go inside and change into a completely different.
I like how they have a very loving, dynamic relationship as brothers. It's good. Yo, this actress looks like Nina Dobrev. I almost thought it was her. She's like Nina Dobrev doppelganger. For those of you who are Vampire Diaries fan like me.
Hospital girls. Someone's always pissed at you.
Mommy?
That wasn't necessary. Why is the router in the barn? Wouldn't it be in the house?
High school. He doesn't age.
No, he does not. Wait till you see him 50 years later.
All your stories.
Yes, because of Lois Lane, women know that they can do anything.
Everybody else we know moved away.
She means bailed.
Luke?
Twin Cities.
Sippy?
St. Louis.
He's retrofitting the coal mines to
Morgan Edge?
energies.
I don't even recognize that name.
Until it doesn't.
If it's a comic book character, I likely don't know. So Morgan Edge, is that Like, is that going to be their Lex Luthor? Is that why they're using the word? I don't know. Tell me in the comments if that's comic book character. I don't know. What? You expect him to wait till tomorrow to find out about his mother's finances? Okay. Alright. That's kind of rude.
Yeah,
Wouldn't
you're
you
dead
just
right.
tell the
Pretty
person
much
there?
everything here.
Aww. She's like, I like this one.
How was Grandma thinking?
I still find it so weird a router would be in the barn. For anybody who knows why that's the case, let me know, please. Like, is there a logistic reason you would put an internet router in a barn? Wow, he can hear it from that far? Like, I know he's got super hearing, but goddamn, that's super hearing. She's practically whispering that. Oh shit, he's gonna fall. He's gonna fall. Oh! Damn. Ah! Oh! Okay. We know who's got the powers. Right? They're gonna have not a scratch on them because Jonathan saved him. Okay, so we're gonna be watching Jonathan get some powers. Alright, alright. I'm pretty sure that's what they're alluding to. I mean, why else were you talking about that the whole time? Oh shit. Oh, are they gonna see him do that? And that's why they're like, are you Superman, Daddy? Oh, I guess maybe not. Like, you just found out you're fine after almost dying. Or...
Seriously? Football's what you're worried about right now?
Dude, what's your problem? What are you mad at? Oh. The obvious.
Digits, not me.
Mm-hmm.
You texted her already, didn't you?
Did he? Even despite being mad and suspicious, he's like, I'm still gonna tell her I'm alright.
You know what? Something a lot freakier than me happened to us in that barn. Something we're not being...
Okay. I'm not buying that he's so suspicious of something being hidden from them. Like, where's he reasoning that? I feel like they're really reaching for him to come to that conclusion, I guess, to get to the whole reveal of his dad being Superman.
Your dad's back.
I love his face. He's like, ugh. Something he's so used to.
It's Kryptonian. You are not a hero, Kal-El.
Oh.
Whoever did this knows who I am.
Yeah. They know the Kryptonian language. Oh my god. Can you imagine if they bring in, like, a young Zod? Like a whole new version of him?
Powerful something out there that doesn't like Superman or nuclear power plants, and that is bad.
Yeah, but... Oh, okay, she's right. You're still Superman. Like, you gotta... There's... Okay, whatever.
Married Superman.
Exactly!
Superman doesn't get to have
Exactly.
a life, no matter how much you want one for him.
Yes! My new favorite character. He's keeping it real. Yes, you go, General Lane. That's the reality of things, despite how she feels. Logic, people, logic. Alright, so part 1, the first half hour of this episode is complete, and I cannot wait to watch the last half hour. But for now, let me just kind of give you my thoughts before you move on to my next video of part 2, which is the last 30 minutes of this episode. So let's talk about the things I really, really did not like, and I'm then going to end it off with what I do like, because I like to end off on a positive note always. Alright, so what I didn't like, I'm still not feeling this whole thing about the fact that his sons, Superman's son or Clark's sons, they don't know that he's Superman. And obviously, as I had mentioned before, they seem to be going with the whole thing from the original mythology of the glasses being the dividing factor, right? Now, I've watched videos in the past and read articles in the past about how that dynamic of him being invisible to the world as Superman and Clark with the glasses. I know there's a whole formula about that, but I just feel that they shouldn't have done it for the show. I like the whole aspect that they brought into Man of Steel, where Lois knew Clark was Superman by her own journalistic talents. She discovered him being Superman, right? I really thought they were going to bring that in. I think it would have made for a much more interesting story having their sons know it's Superman and still have this very antagonistic or very tense relationship because he's Superman, right? Because he's Superman, he's never home. So pretty much it's kind of like how Lois would be jealous of, like, I'm thinking of Lois Lane in the original movies, the Donner movies, where Lois is somewhat jealous of the world because Superman spends more time with saving the world. So they could have transferred that onto his kids, where that's where the tension comes from. Rather than the tension now likely will come from the fact they find out he's Superman, right? Anyway, so not really buying that, but I'm crossing my fingers that at the end of the episode, they'll give us a really clever reveal with their journey into finding out that he's Superman, right? I'm hoping for something smart. So the second thing that I don't really fancy too much is the fact that they rushed through his origins. I know that your average normie, your normie out there who's seen Superman and stuff, I know most people know the origin story of Superman. So I understand they don't want to spend too much time on that. It's kind of like, yeah, been there, done that, overdone, right? However, why I feel that it was where the rush actually didn't serve the situation is because it was so rushed. I didn't get to connect emotionally to this Martha Kent for me to feel his grief when she dies within the first 15 minutes of the show. So it's like the rush, I understand why they did it, but I feel, at the very least, I feel having Martha die was a mistake. I think they should have let her have a stroke and perhaps be incapacitated in some way where she can't communicate, because that happens as a side effect with strokes, right? You can't talk, and then we can sideline her into the story and perhaps have her pass on at the end of the season, so that, I don't know, there was just a lot of possibilities they could have done with keeping Martha alive, okay? Save Martha for the end of the season. So I felt that was very rushed. I didn't really like that very much. Yeah, so that's kind of the main stuff I really didn't like so far. Now, what I do love so far is, of course, the casting. Good job with Jonathan and Jordan so far. I'm really enjoying the performances from these two actors, although I'm not buying that they're supposed to be 14 in the story. Like, what is that? But anyway, aside from that, performance-wise, the actor who's playing Jonathan, I buy his Jonathan. I get the gist of who he kind of is. You can see he's kind-hearted. He's light-hearted. That's the best way to put it. He's light-hearted. I mean, despite the voiceover about his character, which Clark goes on about, you can see it in the performance, right? I love that they've given a very loving dynamic as brothers. They're very supportive of each other. Although you clearly see they literally are night and day, there's this bond together that I feel balances. It's a great yin-yang situation going on, and I think the performance of this yin-yang bond-like thing is very well done from these actors so far. I'm buying it. Casting-wise, overall, in general, I think is pretty good. I like General Lane. I like the dynamic they're showing between him and Superman, this partnership that they seem to have, sort of like this partner in crime kind of thing, literally. And then we have Lana Lang and her family. So I think that's really cool that we're going to introduce, the classic Smallville love story, or Smallville elements. That's what I'm trying to say. They're introducing the Smallville elements, the Smallville characters as major parts of the journey to come. So now, obviously, they're trying to make Lana's husband be somewhat of an antagonistic character. And so, I mean, the lines they've given him is a little bit, some of them weren't necessary, you know? Some of them seem to be very stereotypical of a type of person they're trying to describe. I don't know. To me, there were some undertones of social commentary on his way of thinking versus Lois's way of thinking, right? Small town people thinking versus city folk thinking, which is part of our reality in general. But I just feel it was a little bit cliched. So I hope they surprise me with him. I hope there's more layers to him than him just being the guy with the douchey lines. Okay? All right, so next thing that I do love very much and that I obviously was quite vocal about it as if you're watching my reactions, I love the dynamics between Lois and Clark. Because that's what's going to hold this show together, is having this really great balance of these two lead characters, and I like that. I like that they're going to create this symbiotic relationship where Superman's choices are going to be based on his communication with Lois, and it's revolving around their marriage, revolving around them as parents, but more importantly, revolving things around with them as the lead of the show. And that moment where General Lane tells Lois, you know, you married Superman. All right, girl? You got to understand that. That comes with a series of things you may not like, but you married it. And I was so happy. I was so happy they put that, because I'm going to be honest, for a moment there, I thought they were going to have it where when Lois puts her foot down, right, this sort of extreme feminism thing going, then Superman's just going to be like, okay, you know, kind of thing. But they are using her father as sort of the middle ground of logic versus your emotions. Anyways, that's what I'm interpreting, and I like that. I like that. We need to keep things real here, okay? We need to keep things real. So I do enjoy the fact that Lois, they're using the character of Lois to put out some commentary related to feminism. I get that. I'm cool with that to a certain degree. But at the same time, too, they're balancing it out with reason and rationality that, in my personal opinion, sometimes, most often than none, is missing when it comes to ways of looking at things in today's world, okay? Anyway, those are the main things I really loved so far. And let's just hope they don't screw it up in the next half hour of the show. Okay, all right, guys. So that's it for now. Thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe, of course, and click on that notification bell if you want to see more of my reactions. And so on to part 2. You are going to go, right? You're going to click on that link to watch part 2. I hope you are. All right, I'm Asha, tuning out. Peace.